So they finally started asking around, didn't they? The investigators, the curious ones, the people who thought they could piece together what the hell happened to you by interrogating your past. And let me tell you something beautiful, something poetic, something that should make you smile in the dark. Nobody wanted to talk. Not a single one. They reached out to the friends who betrayed you, the lovers who destroyed you, the family who abandoned you, the co-workers who sabotaged you, and every last person who thought they broke you. And you know what happened? Silence, nervous laughter, quick excuses, and then the same phrase, repeated like a warning carved into stone. Good luck, you'll need it. Let that sink in for a moment. The people who once had power over you, the ones who made you question your worth, who walked away like you were nothing, who smiled while they stabbed you, who celebrated your downfall, those people, when asked about you now, suddenly got very, very quiet. Because they saw something in their rearview mirror. They felt the shift in the air. They realized too late that the person they destroyed didn't stay destroyed. And now they're terrified, not of what you did, but of what you became. Because revenge is loud, obvious, predictable. But evolution is silent, surgical. And it doesn't announce itself until it's already rewritten the entire game. You see, they thought they knew you. They thought they had you figured out, filed away, dismissed. They thought you were weak because you cried. They thought you were defeated because you went quiet. They thought you were broken because you stopped fighting back. But what they didn't realize, what they couldn't see through their arrogance and their shallow little perspectives, is that you weren't breaking, you were downloading. You were absorbing every betrayal like data. You were turning every wound into code. You were learning the system by being destroyed by it. And then you rewrote yourself from the inside out. And now when they hear your name, their stomachs drop, their hands shake, their voices crack, because they know. They know they didn't just hurt you, they created you. So let's talk about what really happened when they started making those calls, sending those messages, trying to gather intel on you. Because this isn't just about people refusing to talk. This is about people refusing to remember, refusing to relive, refusing to admit what they felt when they looked into your eyes after everything they did and saw nothing. No rage, no tears, no begging, just cold, calculated, terrifying clarity. The kind of look that says, I see you now, and I'll never unsee you. The kind of silence that speaks in frequencies they can't decode. The kind of presence that makes them realize they weren't dealing with a victim. They were standing in front of a mirror that showed them exactly what they were. And that image, that truth, it's burned into their mind forever, and they can't escape it, no matter how far they run. Here's what happened. They picked up the phone. They typed out the message. Hey, I'm trying to understand what happened with so-and-so. You knew them pretty well, right? What's the story? And the response, when it finally came, was always the same. Deflection, avoidance, nervous energy. Look, I don't really want to get into it. Just be careful, that's all I'll say. Good luck, you'll need it. And then the conversation ended. Because nobody wanted to be the one to explain. Nobody wanted to admit what they saw. Nobody wanted to confess that they poked the bear, and the bear didn't roar. The bear evolved. The bear learned their language, studied their patterns, and then walked away without a sound, leaving them haunted by the absence of revenge. Because you didn't fight back the way they expected. You didn't scream or beg or seek vengeance. You just became unreachable. And that's so much worse. They wanted a story they could spin, a narrative they could control. Oh yeah, they went crazy. They couldn't handle it. They're bitter now. But they couldn't say that because it wasn't true. The truth is that you handled it better than they ever could have imagined. You didn't just survive what they put you through. You transmuted it. You turned betrayal into fuel. You turned heartbreak into clarity. You turned isolation into self-mastery, and now when they see you, or even hear about you, there's this look in their eyes, this quiet panic, because they realize they're not dealing with someone who's they're dealing with someone who's ascended. An ascension, my friend, is irreversible. You can't pull someone back down once they've learned to exist on a frequency you can't reach. So let's get specific. Let's talk about the ex who cheated on you, the friend who spread lies, the boss who humiliated you, the parent who abandoned you. Let's talk about what happens when someone asks them, "So what happened between you two?" and they freeze. Because how do you explain that you hurt someone who didn't deserve it, and instead of collapsing, they became something you can't categorize? How do you admit that you expected them to break, to beg, to fall apart, but instead they disappeared into silence and came back as a force you can't name? How do you tell someone, "Yeah, I crossed them, and now I can't sleep at night because I keep seeing their face in my mind," not with anger, but with this calm, knowing look that says they've already moved past me, and I'm stuck here replaying what I did? They can't say that. So they say nothing. Or they say, "Good luck," which is code for, I have no idea what they're capable of now, but I know it's something I don't want to be on the wrong side of. And here's the thing, you didn't threaten them, you didn't send messages, you didn't post about them, you didn't seek revenge, you just existed differently. You changed your energy, your frequency, your entire operating system. And that is what scares them more than any confrontation ever could. Because confrontation they can handle. Confrontation they can twist, manipulate, reframe. But transformation leaves them with nothing to fight against. Just the haunting realization that they hurt someone powerful and didn't even know it until it was too late. Now let's talk about why "good luck, you'll need it" is the most devastating thing they could say, because it's not a joke, it's not casual, it's a warning wrapped in surrender. It's them admitting, without actually admitting, that they have no idea who you are anymore. That the person they knew, the person they hurt, is gone, and in their place is someone they can't predict, can't manipulate, can't control. Someone who learned from every betrayal, someone who absorbed every lesson, someone who turned pain into power so efficiently, so completely, that they're now operating on a level that makes their former tormentors nervous just thinking about them. And that's not arrogance. That's not bitterness. That's the natural result of being forged in fire while everyone else played with matches. Let me paint you a picture. Someone who hurt you gets asked about you. Maybe it's a mutual friend. Maybe it's someone new in your life doing research. Maybe it's a potential employer, a new partner, someone trying to understand your history. And the person who crossed you, they pause. They think, and then they realize they can't trash you without revealing themselves. They can't lie without sounding defensive. They can't tell the truth without admitting they're haunted. So they do the only thing they can do. They deflect. "I don't really want to talk about it. Just be careful. They're not who they used to be." And what they mean is, I'm not who I used to be because of what I saw in them after I destroyed them. They're not warning others about you. They're warning others about themselves. About what happens when you underestimate someone who turns suffering into scripture. Here's the part they'll never tell you directly. When they see you now, whether in person or through the grapevine, there's a moment, flicker, a flinch, because you're not performing anymore. You're not trying to prove anything. You're not explaining yourself. You're not defending your choices. You're just existing with this unshakable certainty, this quiet confidence that says, I know exactly who I am, and I don't need you to understand. And that is terrifying to people who only feel powerful when others are weak. Because your strength isn't loud, it's not aggressive, it's not fragile. It's the kind of strength that doesn't need to announce itself, because it's woven into every cell of your being. It's the kind of power that makes people step back without you saying a word. And they can feel it, they can sense it, and it makes them realize they're not in your league anymore. They never were, they just didn't know it until now. So yeah, they asked around, and nobody wanted to talk, because talking means remembering, and remembering means facing the fact that they hurt someone extraordinary and called it ordinary. They broke someone powerful and called it weak. They dismissed someone irreplaceable and called it easy. And now they're living with the consequences. Not the consequences of your revenge, but the consequences of their own emptiness. Because when you left, when you went silent, when you stopped reacting, you took something with you. You took the version of yourself they thought they could always access. And without that, they're left with nothing but the echo of who they used to be when they still had you in their life. And trust me, that echo is loud. It's relentless. And it doesn't let them forget. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about the specific moments that haunt them. The moment they realized you stopped checking their social media. The moment they noticed you didn't react to their indirect posts. The moment they heard you were thriving and it didn't make sense because you were supposed to be broken. The moment someone mentioned your name and they felt their chest tighten, not with anger but with something worse. Regret mixed with fear. Because they know somewhere deep in their bones that they had access to something rare, something real. And they destroyed it for nothing? For ego? For entertainment? For a momentary high that faded the second you disappeared from their life. And now they're stuck wondering if you ever think about them. Knowing the answer is probably no, and that realization is more painful than any argument ever could be. Here's what nobody tells you about becoming untouchable. It's lonely at first. It's confusing. You question yourself. You wonder if maybe you're the problem. Maybe you're too intense, too much, too different. But then something shifts. You realize that being too much for people who were never enough is actually a compliment. You realize that being misunderstood by people who never tried to understand you is a blessing in disguise. And you realize that every person who walked away, every person who hurt you, every person who dismissed you, they were all doing you a favor. They were clearing the path. They were making space. They were removing themselves so you could become who you were always meant to be without their weight holding you down. And once you realize that, once you truly internalize it, you stop caring about their opinions. You stop needing their validation. You stop replaying the past. Because the past is where they live, and you've moved so far forward, they can't even see you anymore. Now let's talk about what good luck, you'll need it, really means from their perspective. It means I don't know what they're capable of, but I know I don't want to find out. It means I hurt them, and instead of getting revenge, they got better. And that scares me more than anything they could have done to me. It means I underestimated them. And now I'm paying the price of living with that mistake every single day. Because here's the truth, revenge is temporary. Revenge gives them something to fight against, something to justify their actions with. See, I was right about them, they're vindictive, they're toxic. But when you don't give them that, when you just evolve and move on, they have nothing. No excuse, no narrative. Just the cold, hard reality that they hurt someone who didn't deserve it. And that person became something magnificent without them. And that truth, it eats them alive. Slowly, quietly, permanently. So they warn people, not out of concern, out of self-preservation. Because if someone else gets close to you, they might see what your former tormentors saw. The power, the depth, the resilience. And then they'll realize what was lost, and your former tormentors can't have that. They can't have others knowing they had something precious and threw it away. They can't have the world seeing them for what they really are. Small, scared, shallow, so they deflect. They warn, they say good luck like it's protection, when really it's projection. It's them admitting they needed luck to handle you and they failed. It's them confessing without words that you were always the storm and they were never prepared for the thunder. Let me tell you something about the people who refuse to talk when asked about you. They're not protecting you. They're protecting themselves. Because talking about you means admitting they were wrong. Admitting they misjudged you. Admitting they hurt someone who turned out to be exactly who they said they were, while they revealed themselves to be exactly what you always suspected. And that admission, that's too heavy, that's too real. That requires self-awareness they don't possess. So they stay quiet, they deflect. They change the subject, and in that silence, in that refusal to engage, they're telling you everything you need to know. They're telling you that you won, not because you fought, but because you evolved past the need to fight. And that, my friend, is the ultimate victory. Here's what's happening right now, in real time, as people ask about you. Your name is being spoken in rooms you'll never enter. Your story is being whispered in conversations you'll never hear. And every single time, the response is the same: hesitation, discomfort, avoidance. Because you've become something they can't categorize. You're not the victim they remember. You're not the person they dismissed. You're something else entirely. Something that makes them question their own choices. Something that makes them wonder what they could have been if they had your strength. Something that reminds them every time your name comes up that they had a chance to be part of something real, something powerful, and they threw it away for nothing. They aim to, and now they're stuck with that knowledge, carrying it like a weight they can't put down while you move through the world unburdened, unchained, unstoppable. So let them ask. Let them dig. Let them try to piece together your story from the fragments left behind by people too afraid to tell the truth. Because the truth is this: you're not the same person they hurt. You're not the same soul they broke. You're the phoenix that rose from the ashes they created. You're the storm they didn't see coming. You're the reckoning they never prepared for. And every time someone asks about you and hears, "Good luck, you'll need it," that's not a warning about you, that's a confession from them. A confession that they encountered something extraordinary and didn't recognize it until it was gone. And now they're living in the aftermath of that realization, while you're living in the freedom of knowing you don't need anyone's approval to be exactly who you are. Untouchable, unbreakable, unforgettable. Now we enter the part that truly breaks them, the part where they realize you're not coming back. Not to argue, not to reconcile, not to give them closure. You're just gone. And that absence, that permanent, irreversible absence, is more devastating than any words you could have said, because they keep checking, they keep looking, they keep hoping that maybe, just maybe, you'll reach out, you'll respond, you'll give them one more chance to explain, to apologize, to rewrite the story. But you don't. You won't. Because you learned something they never will. That some doors once closed should stay closed. That some people once removed from your life should stay removed. That some chapters once ended should never be reopened. And that knowledge, that certainty, it's what makes you untouchable now. Let's talk about the specific ways they try to track you. The subtle social media checks, the questions to mutual friends, the casual, "Hey, how's so-and-so doing?" disguised as innocent curiosity. And every time they do this, every time they try to find a crack in your armor, they find nothing. Because you're not performing your healing. You're not posting inspirational quotes. You're not dropping hints about your growth. You're just living, quietly, powerfully, without needing their validation or their attention. And that silence, that lack of reaction, it drives them absolutely insane. Because they're used to getting responses. They're used to mattering. And the fact that you've made them irrelevant without even trying, that's a level of power they can't comprehend. That's a type of strength that makes them question everything they thought they knew about control, about power, about winning. Here's what they don't understand. You're not ignoring them out of spite. You're not silent because you're bitter. You're simply existing on a different frequency now. You've moved to a level where they don't register anymore, where their opinions, their judgments, their entire existence doesn't penetrate your peace. And that's not arrogance, that's evolution. That's what happens when you stop fighting for people who never fought for you. When you stop explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. When you stop trying to prove your worth to people who were never qualified to judge it in the first place. You didn't become cold. You became clear. And clarity, true clarity, is often mistaken for cruelty by those who benefit from your confusion. So when they tell people good luck, you'll need it, what they're really saying is this: I tried to break someone and they became unbreakable. I tried to silence someone and they became undeniable. I tried to destroy someone and they became unstoppable. And now I have to live with the knowledge that I had a hand in creating something I can no longer reach, touch, or affect. And that realization haunts me every single day. Because that's the thing about hurting powerful people. They don't stay hurt. They transform. They adapt. They rise. And they rise so high, so far above you, that you become a footnote in their story, while they become the legend you can never stop talking about. And that imbalance, that shift in power, it's permanent, irreversible, absolute.